Yo, know when you hear the laugh, what time it is. Set some more dark arts back once again. Video 113, I believe this is. All right. It's your brother Set here, back once again. Look, guys, had a lot of good feedback from the last video. Appreciate all of it. Thank you. I just want to read some comments. You guys know me. If I'm making a video here, either I'm at work and I got some time before the next class. So let me just let's get into it. Another one? All right. Thought I had something in my nose there, man. All right. Listen. Some people wrote some things. Some people wrote a lot of things, but I'm going to read the ones that specifically were questions. Well, this is not a question, but someone, Azir, 4 days ago, he said, I believe groups of us are somehow synced up with each other. I watched one of your videos months ago, then randomly I decided to check your page today, and I see that you posted something 2 days ago. I remember you alluding this in an earlier video. I was skeptical, but now not so much. All right, then the second part, he gets to something about life after death. I might as well just read the whole thing. I was skeptical, but now not so much. I always tell people that if you see a dead body of a loved one, you know, whether consciously or subconsciously, you can look at the body, that body, and plainly see that something has left it. It's clearly not the person that you know and love. This is the best evidence I have personally seen for life after death. That's true. That's true, brother. I mentioned that in the last video about my grandmother being passed away. I haven't passed away. And, you know, when I kissed her body, her vessel in the casket, that's all it was. I mean, no disrespect to her, but it wasn't her. It was just a vessel. The true her wasn't there. And I guess Azu Azir says the same thing. And the key point of what he said was that it's the best evidence of he has personally for life after death. See, that's the thing, guys. It's not about what I say. It's not about what anyone else says. It's all about you give yourself validation. You know, you justify or you validate things for yourself. You don't need someone else to tell you, this is proof of life after death. You know, and, you know, I've seen some special, which I'm quite sure they mean well, but you have like a team of specialists or scientists or whatever they want to call themselves. They're trying to measure the body like right after death. This is what makes me laugh with these guys, right? Because, oh man, God bless them. They mean well, they do. And I see where they're coming from, but everything with them is so science-minded, man. It's like, all right, we're going to measure the body at 0.1 second, the moment the person stops breathing. And if it's lighter than whatever their measurements they're trying to use, that's proof in itself that the physical soul has left the body. These humans, man. You guys know how I feel about the humans. The humans, oh, God, they just never learn, man. I don't want to go on my human rant. You guys know I'm going to get into my rant about the humans, but they make me sick sometimes, man. Come on. It's like, you get these powerful beings, these powerful multi-dimensional beings in human vessels, all of us, and they insist on playing the human game and calling themselves humans and messing around with these three-dimensional tactics that mean nothing. Anyway, so yeah, moving right along. So that was Azu Azir's message 4 days ago. Moving right along down to our famous brother, Nathan Phillips, who's a longtime subscriber. He writes, glad to see a new vid set. Hey, I had a new astral projection experience, and this is not the first time, but I don't want to ask you, can your physical body go? Maybe you want to say, I want to ask you, can your physical body go with you while astral projecting to different realities? Because I literally felt and saw my physical body. It's like my non-physical and astral body brung it with me and went flying to where my non-physical form was and taking me, and then after I went into those realities, I brought it back to my bed and my physical body was placed in bed. I was in a trance, so I don't know how my astral form and my physical body got together. Reality shifted to non-physical. If someone was in the room, okay, this is the key point. It's a long stretch of a paragraph. The key point is, if someone was in the room, I wonder if they would see my physical body getting teleported somewhere else and then coming back in bed. Can you comment on this, brother? Okay, thank you, Nathan Phillips. Now, I did comment on that. I basically told him, which I don't need to read it, you guys can read it, it's on the page, but I'll just paraphrase again. Your physical body's not going anywhere. That's it. Remember, guys, no matter how great these experiences are, your physical body never goes anywhere. It's the non-physical. The non-physical. People call it the soul, they call it consciousness. You call it whatever you want, but it's not physical. Your physical body, you're trying to get positioned there. It's hot in this hallway. Anyway, physical body goes nowhere, ever, pretty much. But your non-physical is the one that transcends everything. Now, if you're claiming or if you're saying that you saw your physical body go somewhere, these are all projections of the mind, man. I'm not saying that they're not real, but you see things that the best way that you can comprehend it. The inner self introduces things to you so that you can comprehend it, and it gives you imagery that you will most likely understand. But yeah, if I was in the room with you, or someone's in the room with you, and you started traveling, your physical body's not going to go anywhere. It's always regardless of what you see, it's going to be your non-physical form. Now, some people call it the astral form or the soul and all these things, but remember, the words don't mean words are just words and names are just names. At the end of the day, it comes down to either physical or non-physical, and the body doesn't go anywhere. So, but it's good. I'm really happy, man, to see everybody on their purpose, on their business, getting things done, practicing. They haven't given up. A lot of people wrote a lot of comments where, they're still at it. Some people feel that, they took a break, but I had a lot of comments here with people saying things similar to the effect that, like, hey, I wasn't thinking about it, I took a break, and then your thought or image crossed my mind. I went on YouTube, and then suddenly, boom, you just made a new video. Going back to what Azir said, that, he was thinking about me, and then he checked the pages, I haven't been on for a minute, and he finds out I made a video 2 days ago. And yeah, I probably did talk about that in the past, about how everything, there are no coincidences, guys. Everything's happening, and you ever heard the phrase, the teacher comes when you're ready? I'm not saying that I'm the teacher. Anybody could be the teacher. Nature itself is the teacher. Reality, that's on another trip. The bottom line is that anything or anyone could be a teacher, right? But yeah, when you think about things like a magnet, it draws them to you. So I may not have been on YouTube for months. You may have slacked off on your training. Suddenly you think, hey, whatever happened to that guy Set on the internet? I wonder if he ever made any more videos. And then you check the internet, and I just made a video like 10 minutes ago. There are no coincidences, man. It's all connected. Everything's connecting itself to one another. So, now I have a story. I think I told you guys this story. I'm worried that I may have said this like 10 times. I'm like, this is the first time I'm going to tell you this story. But let me say it again. There was an interesting experience I had a long time ago. Maybe, I don't know if it was a year ago or something, probably. But it's interesting, right? I had a bit of a complex in the past I went to Catholic school pretty much my whole life. And when you go to Catholic school, you have to wear a tie, right? Shirt, tie, blazer, all that stuff. And the funny thing is that I never learned how to tie a tie, ever. Like, it just, for some reason, it was a mental block. I just couldn't learn. Like, people would show it to me, and I look at them and go, okay. And I would try it, and not that I couldn't do it. I wasn't even coming close to doing it the right way. It was crazy. It was like, people were like, what the hell's wrong with you? You can't tie a tie. I just couldn't do it. So what happened was, I would have all these ties. Whenever I would meet random people, girlfriends, family members, say, hey man, tie this tie for me. I had a whole collection of ties that were all tied up, and like I would never undo them. I would just, at the end of the day, pull it out, but not completely, pull it over my head, put it up. And I had these ties that were never undone for like ages. Like, I had a whole bunch of an army of ties sitting around, in one spot that have never been undone, because random people have tied them. And it was funny because it was like, I was always like, and I know this may sound trivial to a lot of you, but I would be like, man, I really gotta learn how to tie a tie. So I think it's about a year ago, probably. It had to be about a year ago, I think, maybe. But anyway, one day I thought about, man, I really need to learn how to tie a tie, man, because what if I get caught in a situation where suddenly someone's like, you gotta wear this tie, and it's not done, and I'm like, I don't know how to tie a tie. So that week, I was like, okay, I'm gonna learn how to tie a tie, man. Like, that's it, this time I'm serious. And I'm gonna go on the internet, I'm gonna learn how to do it. And what happened was, I had a dream-like experience. I know you guys like that word, dream, right? I was in a non-physical reality, man. And this was interesting because it was a probable self. It was myself talking to myself. And it was as usual, business as usual. Another version of me talking about the nature of reality and how to do certain things in the non-physical realm and just passing on knowledge. This is a random thing for me. And it can happen to a lot of you too, where you have your probable selves or other versions of yourselves that meet up in this non-physical plane and you exchange information. I'll get into that also on maybe this video. But yeah, guys, if you didn't know, when you go to bed at night or when you meditate or at any time, at any moment, in the non-physical realm, there are other versions of yourselves, like they all converge together, and sometimes they exchange information of what's going on in their reality, what have they experienced, what have they learned, and if it could be a benefit to you, they may pass it on to you, or they'll give you just the information, and it's up to you to figure out how could that be beneficial to you. Because sometimes information passed along, it may not be beneficial to you depending on if you're in this physical reality or not, and where you are in your journey. It may not be of any use to you at the moment. It may come in handy years later or sometime later, or even in another life, that when you leave this physical reality, it may come in handy after physical reality. But so this other me's talking, right? He's telling me all this stuff, and then in the middle of the conversation, he goes, you know what? You need to learn how to tie a tie, man, and I'm going to teach you. So it's like, just pay attention. I'm only going to show you one time. Now remind you, well, I'll get into that later. So I'm going to show you one time, just pay attention. So we're talking, and the other me is standing in front of me, and he puts a tie around my neck, and he's like, all right, you're going to do this, and that. And there was only one time. It was one time he tied it once, and that was it. So I wake up back in physical reality, and my brain, in my mind, it was like, holy shit, I can tie a tie. Like, it was just a feeling of like, it was unbelievable. And I know people are going to say, no, it's your subconscious mind telling you. Listen, when I say I wasn't even close to knowing how to tie a tie, like, it wasn't even, if it was a range of percentages and 100% meant I know how to tie a tie, I wasn't even on one. I could not get the concept of tying a tie, man. And to be honest, I never really tried it. Like, the last time I attempted was high school, and I didn't get it then, and I never tried. As soon as I graduated, I never went back to trying to learn how to tie a tie. I know that sounds crazy to a lot of you, but I just didn't care, because I don't like wearing ties anyway. And I always had someone to tie it for me, and that was it. But I woke up that morning, and it was so funny, man, because it was like the knowledge of learning, of knowing how to tie a tie, it was just in my mind. It was implanted. Boom, now you know how to tie a tie. The knowledge was passed on to me. And I went to my closet, I undid I did one tie, and I was like, this is real. And I had it, and then I went crazy, and I started undoing all the ties I had, which could have been a disaster if I didn't know how to do it. We had to find somebody else to do them for me. But I went and I started doing all these ties up, man, and I was so happy. I mean, like I said, I know for a lot of you, this seems trivial. It's nonsense. So what? You learn to tie a tie. But the theme of the story is this. In the non-physical realms, information can be passed to you that can be beneficial. You can learn things. Now, please don't start sending messages. Well, what if I want to learn how to speak Spanish and I never learned Spanish? Listen, let's be realistic. Anything's possible. I'm not going to say it's not possible. You may learn a language. We hear this all the time when people go into severe accidents, trauma, and when they come back to the physical body, they can now speak a foreign language, or they can play a musical instrument. It's a possibility. But I've talked about this in the past, on how your probable selves, you have information. They all have information. Everyone has information. And depending on how close you are to one another, if you have that coordination point, that connection point, there could be bleed-throughs. Their information comes to you, your information goes to them, and you could learn things much quicker. Now, in my case, I was getting it through pure one-to-one contact with my probable self. And when he showed me, this is how you do it, it's like the information just went directly, bypassed whatever mental blocks that I may have had, and straight into my memory banks, and boom, I know how to tie. So, this can happen anytime. Like information, like I know a lot of us want to have this Hollywood movie scenario where you're meditating and suddenly lightning cracks across the sky, the heavens open up, and boom, there's like, you're downloading knowledge of the matrix and you're getting everything. It really works that way. It happens when you could be sitting on the toilet, you have a moment of insightfulness. You could be just going to work on the train, not thinking about anything related to anything, consciousness-wise, spirituality, whatever you want to name it, and you just get an epiphany or a thought. It's like, boom, you just got it. And that's because, like I said, there's always something going on at all times. Right now, I'm making this video, and I've said this many times, I'm making this video right now, and right now, there is a non-physical realm continuing right now. There's an infinite number of realities happening all at this one moment, and you are connected to all of them. You have probable selves all over you, and the self is experiencing them. And if you open yourself up to the possibility, or let's just say the probability that, because if you say possibility, that's good, but then it's like, well, I don't believe it, but it's possible, maybe. But to me, possibility means maybe. But probability seems much more closer. And there's all type of probable reality. So right now, if you open yourself up to, hey, I really want to learn, or I really want to do this, but I have no knowledge of how to do it. If you put yourself in that mind, that inner mindscape of the mind of this is what you really want to learn and do, then there will be connections set up between those other probable selves that have already excelled at that. And there'll be a connection point, and then you'll start pulling in information from those other realms. Now, that does not mean, let me make this clear, it does not mean that suddenly you're going to learn, if you want to learn how to play a musical instrument, the guitar, and you say, I'm really serious about the guitar, and there probably is, most likely it's a probable self that plays the guitar. That doesn't mean magically you're going to become fucking Jimi Hendrix overnight, which that would be amazing if it did happen that way. And it's a probability it could happen, but it probably won't, most likely. But I'm open to the possibility, the probability of it actually happening. But usually it doesn't work that way for most people, right? But for me, it's like, I got the tie. Now, of course, when I got the tie, it was beneficial for me at the time, but I'm also thinking like, damn, man, I wish it would have been something else, like, a language or something that I could really use. Because like, tie is nice. Look, I'm not gonna be, nitpicky. I'm happy whatever I can get from the other realms and from other selves of mine. I don't want to seem, selfish or ungrateful, but yeah, I would like to see more things come through that could benefit me as well. But we all have them, man. We all have these natural talents. They all come through. And like I said, the key point is leaving yourself open to the probabilities. And sorry, it's getting hot up in here, man. Leave yourself open to the probabilities, and you have the chances sometimes, maybe. Now, let's see, what else I want to get into? Yeah, man, a lot of people just been sending me mail and stuff, and I really want to take this to like another, I know, okay, here we go, I was just saying this all the time, man, but I really want to go to like the next level, guys. Like I've been talking a lot for a few years now. I've been on YouTube for 6 years, and I basically have, I think, what is it now? Let's look at the statistics. I got what was that? I have right now 538 subscribers, and it's funny because like it hasn't gone past that in a long time. It's like it goes from 538, 539, and I don't know if it's the same person or not, but there's always like one person who unsubscribes, goes back down to 538, and it goes up to 539. So, guys, if you're watching these videos and you haven't subscribed, I'm gonna ask now. I know I never really asked, but now I'm asking, please subscribe. Because it gives me more motivation to do videos. The more people I see watching or commenting, the more motivated I am to get on here. If people don't comment, if people don't subscribe, I'm not saying that's necessary, but it just gives me a bit more oomph to get on here and start making videos. Also, guys, from now on, I want you to start telling me what you want to hear me talk about. You know, like certain things. Throw in topics in the comment section. What would you like me to speak on? And if I'm aware, if I have knowledge of what you're asking about, I'll mention it. Even if I don't, I'll just give you my take on it, from the Sumari's perspective. Once again, being that this is video 113, I know numbers are numbers. Coming up Friday is Friday the 13th. Ooh, spooky. Everyone's getting all, what's going to happen on the 13th? And what about this? What about that? Numbers are just numbers, guys. But, you know, it's funny, right? Because over here in Japan, I meet people all the time. And, you know, we talk, and it ends up to the point where I was like, yeah, well, I'm on YouTube. I make videos. And it's always like, well, what does the name Set mean? What is Sumari? What is that? And, you know, when you talk to people who are not into this type of stuff, you say, well, Sumari is a family consciousness and Set. And you see it like literally it's going above their head. It's like going in one ear, it's coming out the other. But you're not saying that they're stupid, but it's just like, you know, I just try to keep it simple. I'm just like, well, sometimes I might just say, it's just the name I use. If I see that's another point, guys. When you're talking to people about certain subjects, dealing with this kind of stuff, give them information or share information according to their level of development. If a person is not into this stuff, you don't need to get into specifics, man, because you're wasting your time, you're wasting whatever knowledge you gain, and you're boring the other person, you know. So if someone says, hey, what does the name Set Sumari mean? What does that mean? And they're just asking a general question just to be nice or just for casual talk. I'm not going to go, well, you see, the name Sumari dates back to an ancient family of consciousness that predates the concept of, and they're like, look, ice cream, and just wasted my time, you know. So, but guys, you know how it is, man. Talked about this many times, but I feel sometimes it's good to just mention it. Yeah, names are just names. They don't really mean anything. I mean, at the end of the day, we are nameless. That's what it comes down to. We're nameless, man. We're the force. No name can contain us. No name, you know, the Sumari family, the Set, all this stuff predates even those names itself. The name Sumari is just something used because we need to have names here. If I didn't have anything, it'd probably be like the nameless ones, which I thought about using that before. But, you know, if I'm too vague, then people could easily put me into another category that I don't want to be in. So I stick with Sumari, you know. And if you just go on the internet and type Sumari into Google or whatever, you really won't get anything. You type in Sumari, you probably get Samurai. That's what will come up. It'll think, okay, this is a spelling error, you get Samurai. And, you know, if you type in Set, of course you'll get the Egyptian god Set. But, you know, it's all about, when you get into the name Set, or Seth, or Satesh, or Sudi, and all these things, I mean, we're dealing with an energy, a rebellious energy. And the story goes on. I mean, in the books with Jane Roberts, I think it's the book with Sue Watkins' Conversation with Seth, and in one of the sessions with Seth, he goes into about how we all have our own Set. You know, everyone has their own Seth, and your own inner Seth is a questioner. It's a creator and an explorer, and that's what it's all about. Me calling myself Set doesn't mean that I believe I am the ancient Egyptian god Set, even though I may wear certain paraphernalia and stylish accessories, but that's just because I want to do that and it gives me a focus. But, you know, for me to wear certain accessories and things, it makes me focus. See, when I look at the Egyptian god Set, I'm not thinking in terms of this is an Egyptian god from ancient Egypt, and I see it as this was a form that the people took, that they've used, but the true power of what Set actually is, it was an energy that represents that rebellious, questioning, exploration, you know, consciousness. And I gotta go in a minute, but yeah, man. But once again, though the name Set or the Set through time, there's been endless Sets. There's always going to be a Set. There was a Set before Jane Roberts. Seth called himself Set. It's just an energy form. And the same with the Sumari. But we do have certain talents that other people don't have, other individuals don't have. And, you know, it's just a way of identifying ourselves. Now, the concept of God, I may have said this before, but a lot of people will say, well, what about God and, you know, what about the Bible and all this? And everyone tries to, look, I'm not the first one to say this, and I won't be the last, but, you know, this is just how it is. All that is, if you want to call it God, the universe, or whatever, but let's just stick with God for now. All that is beyond your intellectual ideas of personhood. That's it. All the ideas you have, names, you want to call it this, you want to call it God is angry, God is going to punish you. All that is beyond your intellectual ideas of personhood or personality. Any concepts you use to personify that idea may be useful, but only in seeing beyond those concepts can you understand what the true power of all that is in itself. And all that is you. All that is yourself manifested into flesh. It's as simple as that, guys. So when you say God is angry or God is this, you can't personify God into intellectual terms of this is God's personality. God's angry. God's going to punish me. You know, use the concepts if you need to personify it. It's going to help you, but you got to see beyond them. When you go beyond those concepts, you can release the true power, the energy, the knowledge of what it truly means to be all that is. And all that is yourself. You are God. I'm God. I'm not saying I'm the God. You're not the God, but we're part of all that is. So I'm going to leave that with you guys to meditate on. Say it once again, to reiterate, all that is beyond your intellectual ideas of personhood. And the ideas you use to personify that idea may be useful, but only in seeing beyond them can you experience the true knowledge, the power, and the energy of what all that is actually is. And it's you manifested through the physical flesh. So think about what I just said. Let me know what you guys want to hear next. Subscribe, like the video. Set us back. Keep making these videos, guys. Take care, guys. Love y'all. Be careful. Do your training. Meditate.